We know that you were born magical. We know that you are intuitive, and we know that you are brimming with everyday enchantment. Here at the Sisters Enchanted, we believe in intention, we believe in intuition, and we believe in everyday magic. Welcome in to the Expedition to Soul podcast.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Expedition to Soul podcast. This is one of your astrology episodes. And hi, I'm Anna, co-founder here at the Sisters Enchanted. And I'm with Sarah Milne. I always point the wrong way. Yeah. I'm consistently just Anna. I'm here with Sarah Milne, who is one of our co-teachers, program director, and, team member extraordinaire here at the Sisters Enchanted. And we are here to talk to you about what's going on for the week of May 16th in the sky. So, Sarah, what astrological happenings are happening?
Eclipse. Ooh,
Yes, it's a total eclipse of the heart.
Second eclipse of the year with the full moon. This moon, we'll see the lunar eclipse. So this is a lunar eclipse in Scorpio. So this is where obviously the sun and the moon are opposite each other and the moon is in eclipse. Whereas last time we saw that new moon eclipse, so we saw them come so conjunct that the sun was eclipsed. So this time we have the lunar eclipse. So the lunar eclipse is a really good time for shadow work and when you think about the moon's energy and all that intuition and emotion and our underlying intuition, our underlying emotional response, it's so super important to who we feel, how we feel and who we are inside. So it's a really good time for some shadow work, especially because this is happening in Scorpio. And Scorpio is really deep. Scorpio likes to go deep. Scorpio loves to go right down to those shadows. Scorpio loves it down there. So this is a really good week for shadow work because you might even find that shadow work is more comfortable than it often is because Scorpio loves to be there in those shadows. And then Scorpio likes to then bring those, Scorpio can see that chink of light and likes to then bring those shadows back up to the light. So, and that's what this eclipse is all about. So that it's a really good time for this. And Scorpio really feels the need to be in control and also the need for power. So it's particularly good time for shadow work around that area of control and power. So and it doesn't have to be like that real kind of I control other people or other people can control me or I'm wanting power over other people or they want power in me. If you have got those sorts of shadows, then great. Yes, it's a great week for those sorts of shadows, but it can also be what's controlling you. Is money controlling you? Is a certain hobby that you're over committing to controlling you. I know in the past I've really overcommitted to running in the past and that controlled me. It could have been that. What's controlling you is wasting time on social media or TV controlling you. What's controlling you? What are you giving too much of your power to? Where do you want to exert more power, take back power? All those kind of things. Power and control, shadows around power and control. Really, really good time for that this week. So my 3 top tips of the week are all around that. Number 1, make some time this week for that deep shadow work. Write it in your diary, make that time. Don't let the week go by and think, oh yeah, it was the week for shadow work, wasn't it? I didn't do it. Because this really could be a week where you're going to feel comfortable. You're going to get some really good. Scorpio will just keep going deeper and deeper and deeper and find these shadows. So maybe it's shadows you don't really understand or know you've got. So this is a good week to find them. So schedule in now, get your diary right now, schedule in some time for that shadow work. And then let go of things that control you in ways that are not in alignment with your intention. So the intention that you set in the new moon for this lunar cycle, there might be things that are controlling you and preventing you from realizing that intention. So this is the moon to let those go. Just let them go really with finality, not just that kind of, oh yeah, I'll just do less of it. Just no, rip it up. It's gone. And then let go of any power struggles that are taking up your time and energy. And we all have them, all those kind of energy drains, those even little things every day. Like I have a neighbor who she's just so entitled. It really winds me up. And I respond by okay, well, you've asked me to move something that's been up against a wall all week, and she doesn't even live here. Like in the coast, you get people that have their little holiday cottage. She comes for a couple of hours a week, not even every week, and then you're like, oh, that's been perfectly okay, I'd move it, sort of thing. So I responded this weekend with, right, okay, I'm going to play my music really loudly then. So there. And I don't even want to listen to music. But that is a little power struggle, which like isn't necessary. And it does like take time and energy. Like I could have been doing something else rather than playing loud music and going, so there you are, knock on the wall then. So these little things, they are power. They are like little energy worms. So it might not be something big, it could be something like that.
I love that. I also have a neighbor. I have not yet said anything, but I have a neighbor who's like maybe not so very nice. And I've got like a list of things. Like the next time he says anything to anybody, I've got like a list of things. I'm going to be like, yeah. And I got to watch it because I'm very Pluto ruled chart Scorpio energy. And I got to like really watch it because sometimes I can be spicy, and I gotta watch the spicy.
I'm sure they're not, but if they happen to just be listening and watching this podcast, our neighbors, hey, you're great.
Hi. Right? No, I'm pretty sure he's not.
No.
But who knows? Who knows what people do in their spare time? Sorry. I'm my son just walked in the room. So anyways, so I pulled 2 cards this week. And interesting, the podcast here likes to throw me some curveballs. And we have the Queen of Wands. This is the Darkness of Light tarot. And the Queen of Wands and the King of Wands. And they're very pretty colors of like purples, and pinks, and whites. And she's got her black cat with her, and he's got his salamander with him. And I think what is striking me most about this card pull this week is the directness in which they're like kind of looking out of the cards, out like at the person on the other side. So me, you, all of you. And that this week, that I think that what these card pulls are saying, especially just with how their stances and their structure and they're holding on of their wands. And I love this deck because both of their wands have growth on them, have like life and leaves. And a lot of times in wands, in tarot decks, it's just like a wooden staff or like a wand. And she's got blooms in her hands, flowers, and they're both wearing this, like they're both surrounded in this kind of very like pink, purple, regal energy. And to me, this card pull is talking very much of confidence and kind of looking at you like, like, what are you doing? And I think that kind of, for me, it's speaking of what you were saying, to really kind of like check yourself a little bit and really just being confident that you don't have to have power struggles to be strong. So I'm feeling like very stared down, like almost like, did you behave that way? Like, why are you doing that? Like, this is what the cards are like kind of looking at me like you're better than that. Like you're stronger than that. You have more focus and more self-restraint than that. And sometimes, Scorpio energy and a little bit of shadowy bits can, make us become quippy, can make us become, resentful, defensive things. And especially when you've got some Scorpio energy, that kind of tends to be our comfortable seat sometimes to sit in, like I'm going to be defensive because I want to blame everybody else because it makes me feel strong. But what's strong is realizing that I may have had a fault in this, or maybe if you're not sure if you did or not blaming somebody else and just sitting with it and being like, I could see how there was maybe some very large miscommunication here instead of pointing a finger. And I feel like both of these cards are looking directly at you and being like, take some responsibility and some accountability for yourself and kind of being like calling you to the carpet, so to speak. week.
Yeah.
And this is your week to be confident and to try to really take responsibility for yourself and not let power struggles get in the way of things. So it's not worth struggling with somebody else. Just focus on yourself and what direction you are doing. And like, let's not do the wands thing where we burn away the life of things. You know, let's continue to let things flourish and not do the opposite thing.
I love it.
Yeah. So kind of a different energy this week. I just feel like both of these, I mean, like you can't tell on the camera, but both of these folks have they have like a stare.
Yeah, they do. I can see that. Yeah.
It's like,
yeah,
it's a very, like, I'm talking to you stare.
Exactly. It's all about shadow work this week. All about shadow work, because that's exactly what it is. Like, shadow work is all about like what's you're doing. Like, what are your shadows? Like, stop blaming everybody else. Like Scorpio likes to, like, stop stinging everyone else. Go into yourself. Go deep into you. What are you doing? And they're both just there going, yeah, and so brilliant.
Yes. That is what they're doing. So I think that's pretty much it. I think that it's, you know, a week for awareness and, you know, facing off those shadowy bits. You're just about to be defensive. You're just about to be resentful. You're just about to place blame. Stop for a second and try not to do that thing. That's what shadow work is. You know, shadow work isn't, I'm going to take some words from the wise Sarah Waka here. Shadow work isn't pulling up your past and like replaying things that have happened to you and like trying to work through the why of that. Shadow work is understanding, you know, kind of how we face the world when we are confronted with something and not completely conquering those shadows. It's about using those shadows to be a part of your strengths. You know, so like I used to always get defensive. So when I'm about to get defensive, I try to stop and say, why am I being defensive? Who am I about to blame? You know, like, what part of this is me? Like, should I just say, like, okay, I hear you. Let's try to navigate through this. And sometimes it's really hard, but then it makes me listen a little bit more to the other side. It makes me realize that like maybe I didn't listen well the first time around, and it gives me room for growth instead of just blaming everything else. So, and that's one of my shadowy bits. And so that's what shadow work is. It's taking it with you and then trying to conquer it in the moments where it flares up. It's not about like living, you know, your childhood over and over again, even, you know, with a magnifying glass, because that's not good for anybody. So yeah, take accountability for yourself. And those wands are looking at you.
Love it.
All right. So Sarah, thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you.
All right. Everybody, we hope you have a great week, and we'll see you next time on the Astrology Forecast as a part of the Expedition to Soul podcast.
Yeah.
Bye.
If you liked this episode of the Expedition to Soul podcast, please rate, review, subscribe. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts, it will really help us spread everyday magic, intention, and intuition to the masses, and helps us so much as a small business. Be sure to hit that subscribe button on your favorite podcasting platform so you never miss an episode. There are new episodes every Tuesday and astro forecasts for the week ahead every Friday. If there's any topics you'd want to hear, anything you want us to dive deeper into, shoot us an email at magic@thesistersenchanted.com. And as always, thank you so much for listening and being part of the community here at the Sisters Enchanted. And we'll see you in the next episode.